This week in league, after his time at South Sydney, Wayne Bennett becomes an expert in flicking gay guys switch to Origin mode.
Surprise winner in the Battle of the Not Centres as Kurt Capel dominates Gutho and Whiten.
State of Origin Game 1 proves to be a condensed Yeary of Cleary, full of promise, but ending in tearies.
Plus, we look back on all the action from State of Origin 1, aka the Game of AIDS in Adelaide.
All that more this week in league. Welcome to episode 375 of This Week in League. I'm Nate.
And I'm Jay.
I'm not sure what sort of anniversary 375 is. It's one of those round anniversary-ish numbers, but I think you give up celebrating the smaller increments when you get to
three and 3/4.
Yes. I guess 25. So I guess sort of after Origin next year, provided they do it in the middle of the year, we'll be looking at the big 400.
Yes.
How you doing anyway, fella? I mean, it's redundant to ask you how you're doing, considering we were we had a 2-hour conversation just last night. But
yes.
But yes, I assume your morning is going excellently. Considering,
considering. Obviously we did the live stream for the Digi members last night during the game.
Yep.
And then both came to the conclusion that we were both too fucking cranky with New South Wales' performance to actually do anything effective afterwards.
Yep.
So, after a night's sleep, then ready to rock and roll.
You're just looking at the world in a new light again.
As always.
Seeing the flowers and the sunshine.
It's a new dawn. It's a new day. It's a new life for me. And I jerked it this morning.
You were feeling wood. Let me write that down. That's the title of the episode. Dun, 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 dun. Oh, fuck. Lube in my hand. You know how it feels.
Fold in the pillow, you know how it feels. The bit between the cushion couches, you know how it feels.
Queuing up stepsister porn. Oh, fuck. So, news this week. I actually, the morning ones, they feel had the coffee and everything.
Yeah,
probably
exactly.
like the sharpest point of the day.
Correct.
You know what I mean? Like
it's all downhill from here.
Yeah,
it's all downhill.
It really is. And normally we're recording, below sea level. When it's so downhill, it's fucking underwater. Now, first thing first, we have to talk about the Dylan Walker situation, which is a hilarious tale. Personally, with the story, it sort of hit the news services around about lunchtime on whatever day it was the other day, and Monday or whenever it was. I awoke to a message from one of our This Week in Popo liaison officers who had sent me, "This has happened last night. This is what happened. Here's the story." And so I'm like, "Huh, interesting. Okay." And so I sort of shared it with you boys, and then a couple of hours later it sort of hits the thing. So I'm not sure. I haven't actually read too many news articles about it, but the way the story goes, allegedly, is that Dylan Walker was absolutely spastic drunk. Went to this pizza place, which is, I think it's Little Italy at Narrowena, and I think he was there to pick up a pizza, which is the most despicable part of the story, actually, and I'll get to that. But he tried to get into a car that that wasn't his or known, people known to him, and then when sort of bystanders saw what was going on, they sort of tried to put a stop to the situation, and so he takes a swing, came off second best from all reports, and then he was hauled in, and that's all very in character for Dylan Walker. I mean, fuck, he's chased the dragon, he's fucking punched the door jam, he's fucking allegedly, although he defeated the dragging his wife to the ground or whatever the fuck, when she interrupted his Fortnite game or whatever that was. So the worst crime in all of this, though, he committed his worst crime in the history of in his illustrious history of misdeeds. He was there to pick up a pepperoni and Nutella pizza.
Jesus fucking Christ.
That hasn't hit the news thing. That's coming from the Popo and the restaurant. For a guy who's had a long history of misdeeds, that's his worst. And by a considerable margin. And lock him up for life. I mean, I would hope that the Manly club see this as the great opportunity that it is to shave some free space in the salary cap and move him on. But obviously, that's in the hands of. I think what's going to happen is they'll hold their fire until he's back in court, and I think he's in court pretty soon. Like I think it's a mid to late November, like 18th or something. So I'd say they'll see what happens there and then act accordingly. But now we're in the Desi era. I would hope that we have less tolerance for, that sort of stuff. But obviously, this one is really open and shut. I don't think he's going to get away with this one like he got. I mean, last time the thing with his missus, he got away with just because the witness changed her testimony and tried to withdraw the whole thing. This one, by all reports that I've heard, is that this is all on fucking tape. The whole thing's on tape from the shop. Like,
and this is the
no
thing.
doubt about it.
If he plays this properly, it does make it hard for them. The issue with this one is there was actually no other person. Like, no one was hurt.
Yeah, it's a
he didn't bash anyone. He wasn't caught with drugs. He wasn't pissing in his own mouth.
Yeah,
and I think that's where, when it becomes anything sexual, that's when you can be let go.
Yeah, also DV-ish too, I suppose. That's another one where they're sort of cracking down.
No, well, Manly don't seem to want to fuck people off for DV. As does any club, really. Like the Tigers got rid of Louis.
Well, to be fair, I mean, like that Jack DeBell and stuff. The testimony that's come out in the case earlier this week is fucking despicable.
Yeah,
and they would have known, and that all would have been, depositioned and everything. They would have
to play fuckhead's advocate
about that for the last year or so.
No, the Dragons wouldn't have had it. No way in the world would the Dragons have had that testimony.
I mean, surely they could act. Surely they could act. They could access the victim statements and all of that sort of thing.
Not before
not
the
trial. Club, but the defense.
Oh yeah, they could have. But why would he give that to the Dragons?
Yeah, I guess he just has to say, "Nah, I didn't do it. Nah, I didn't do it.
Yeah,
nah, I didn't do
exactly.
it." Pleading not guilty. Nah, I didn't do it.
And this is a really unfortunate thing, like what Walker did was fucked up, but in this instance, he's guilty of being a fuckwit and not understanding his limitations on the piss.
Yep.
He is one of those people that and maybe he has to be one of those people that says, I can't drink anymore.
Yeah. And
maybe he's one of those people that can't have 2 beers.
You know what? You think he would have come to that point when he had the whole fucking Aaron Gray chasing the dragon incident while still at Souths.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, and that was years ago.
Yeah.
It's like fucking 5-6 years ago. That's your wake-up call to be a complete teetotaler.
I'm okay with this one if they get rid of him, just because it's one of those situations where the penance is late.
Yep.
But this is penance, I believe, for all that other shit he did, like bashing his wife.
Yeah.
And all of that dumb stuff. And
even though and then there was the first incident he had with Manly was like just one where he was like, he punched a fucking door or whatever when he couldn't get in or whatever. Yeah. But that was, that I think that one was probably more than what it was stated to be as well. But once again, no victim except his hand. So.
Yeah. If I'm head of the Manly club, I play this as I go the violence angle.
Yeah.
I say, look, we understand you may have mental health issues. We understand you may be struggling with whatever it is that you are struggling with.
Yep.
However, violence is a reoccurring theme here.
Yeah.
It's not the alcohol. We understand that alcohol is prevalent in society and people have alcohol issues.
Lack of impulse control that manifests itself in like violent outbursts.
It is 100% just the violence. And so you haven't been able to control that violence.
Yep.
So we are now going to tear up your contract. However, what we are going to do is offer to give you 2 years of club-funded, counselling or mental health funding.
Yep.
Because as a human being, we want to see you get through this. You won't be playing football for us anymore.
Yep. But we're not going to leave you high and dry.
Exactly. Yeah. That's it. Which is probably more than some might say he deserves. But I think that's the high road out of this for Manly.
Yep. And then the media accosted Jakey Turbo after a New South Wales training session and told him about it, and he was shocked to hear of it and said that it's very out of character. And I tell you, that's the one person that I would never ask about anything, because that guy is like the human personification of a fucking puppy dog.
Yeah.
Like, he is just fucking happy to... And I mean, a teammate's never going to shit on another teammate, because then that leads to divisions within,
Correct.
Yeah, club culture and stuff as well. But asking Jakey, who's not a politician at all like DCE and can't give the standard, it's disappointing, let's hope, blah, 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 blah. You can't give that response. He's just the puppy dog. Just
yeah, exactly.
And so you're not going to get that. But I mean, and to put that as like a headline is fucking crazy. But you know what you're getting when you're talking to Jakey.
But who knows? Who knows? Maybe Dylan's been going to fucking anger management counselling for 6 months. Yeah. And he's made great improvements, and people have noticed a change in his personality around the club.
Yeah.
And that's what he's saying. Yeah. I'm
the thing is about rugby league players, and I'm going to blanket every fucking player. It's not obviously not every player, but rugby league players as a collective, is that when you play footy with guys, and you're out in the piss with them and stuff like that, and you're in the sheds after a win, and it's fucking great.
Yeah.
And they're the best blokes in the world because they're a fun fucking hang.
Yeah.
Because they're not fucking beating their misses in front of you.
Yes.
They're not doing fucking all this shit in front of you. All that shit happens, you know what I mean? Like, so obviously every rugby league player is probably a fucking great guy to every other rugby league player.
Yeah.
Exactly. They're doing this shit behind closed doors.
And that's the issue with DV.
Yeah.
As a whole, yeah. Every person that's ever bashed his wife has mates.
Yeah.
Every person that's ever even, pushed or backhanded or, whatever it is, has mates.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, so...
Yeah.
I don't think he needs to be involved in the game professionally anymore, but I do hope he gets the help he needs.
Yep, and he may end up with like a James Robertsy sort of situation where he's sort of compassionate out of the game to sort out his demons, which just happens to work out nicely for...
That's it.
Salary caps and whatnot.
Spot on.
And then he'll resurface with Trent over at the Doggies.
Which is a nice segue into the fact that Jimmy the Jet's been told he's not wanted.
Yeah. Was it... He's like sort of spinning it like it's they've released him on compassionate ground. Like he wanted to cut his contract short to focus on his own health and his family, apparently. And so, like you said, like you suggested for Manly, he's said the direct quote in his statement is, "With the support of Souths, I'm working closely with professionals to get myself healthy and into a position where I can play my best footy and support my family. Souths have been very supportive during this period, helping me to focus on the recovery from my pec injury and providing support for Anna, me, and the kids." So, yeah, I mean, he's had rehab earlier this year. I mean, obviously the guy, he does have some demons that need to be addressed, and hopefully he can sort them out really quickly. Get back to playing footy at his best, because Manly need a centre. Manly gonna need a centre and some speed in that back line. Now, fucking this one goes to you, and I don't know how you feel about it, because I do know how you feel about it, but I think you probably feel less forcefully about it than you did a year ago. Mansour has been told that if he stays at Penrith, he'll be starting the year in reserve grade.
Yes.
So he is now on the market.
Yes.
And it looks like The Eels, Tigers, and Bulldogs are the most likely spots for him to land.
Yep.
However, there's some other possibilities. Tigers are hoping that Josh Adokar will go to them for next year, although there's indications that he may remain in Melbourne for another year.
But as a winger or as a fullback?
Don't know. But if they don't get him, then Mansell probably makes sense for them. The Bulldogs, they just need fucking first grade players. So, I mean, he'll waltz into that place. The Eels haven't got their 30 man roster, or the handful of their top 30 spots to fill. So,
just on that, have we had confirmation anywhere if it's going to be a top 30 or a top 25?
I don't think.
28.
I don't. I mean, everything I see is saying 30, but I thought it was going to 28.
Yeah, maybe that's just force of habit. And
yeah,
that's it.
Yeah,
look,
because I know that immediately after the face-off time,
yes,
you were off him completely, and then he came back and he actually sort of showed some of what you would consider his best form, like this last season. He's been great for the most part.
Yeah, the Mansour thing, it's tough. You never want to besmirch a great servant to your club, and he's been that.
Yes.
He stood staunch through some dark years.
Yep.
Was probably more loved within Penrith circles than his talent allowed.
Yep.
Obviously a great character of the game and a great teammate to be around. After the face-off thing, you're right. I was off his form. I wasn't off him, obviously.
Yeah.
Like, to get your fucking face caved in, and whether people remember or not, he had to have an operation where they literally did the face-off procedure, where they cut the skin, peeled the skin off his face,
and swapped his face with plates on it.
Yes. He can now eat a peach for hours. He was good this year.
Yeah.
However, he was good outside two of the most potent attacking weapons in the competition in 2020.
Yeah.
I would have had a great year plodding along outside Kickow and Crichton.
Yeah.
There was almost no defensive attention on me, and I would have strolled over for a fucking undeserved at Noffa levels.
So you're saying he's like a 10 in a row Darius Boyd on the wing out there outside GI and whatnot.
Where I'm disappointed in Mansour, and where this sits okay with me, is that in games like the grand final, that old player came through.
Yeah. And
there were times where his positioning was poor and his effort to get back to fight for balls was poor. Like the try that Voonie bombed where he had it and just bobbled it before he could put it down. That was vintage. Like, Mansour, if you're going to be on the wing, you need to understand who you're playing against, and you need to understand that cunt is bigger than you, stronger than you, and faster than you.
Yep.
So the only way you get over him is to outthink him, or to be where you need to be well before he is.
Yep.
In that game, that was a team of young kids who were getting steamrolled by a very experienced opponent. And those are the sorts of games that your old heads need to stand up in.
Yep.
And Mansour went into his shell. So again, like a great servant to the club. However, it was a call that needed to be made. And again, in saying that, I'd like to see him somewhere where maybe he could give a little bit of experience to some of these younger kids, just based on what happened in that grand final, though. Who knows? So,
look, at the end of the day, I think it's an easy situation. He's an aging player that's coming to the last year or years of his career.
Yep.
And you've got Toto's obviously nailed down a wing. Staines is there ready to roll. You've signed Staines on a long extension, and presumably there's decent upgrade. You need to find that money somewhere, and make that. And Staines has obviously proven that he can certainly do everything that Mansour could do and more. So
exactly, and that's
generational change happens to everyone.
It does, and that's the last point as well. I do also think the skill set of that position has passed him by.
Yep.
So the need now is for tall, powerful, athletic wingers that can score tries from 8 metres outside the field of play with go-go gadget arms. So.
Yep.
But all the best at whatever club he lands at.
And finally, I don't want to get too much into this because we're not the experts of the subject. But
when's that ever stopped us?
That's true. the Toronto Wolfpack have been denied readmission into the English Super League. Their proposal that was submitted, under new ownership consortium, has failed, and basically by a vote of the teams there. So it's just one of these shoot yourself in the foot moments. I haven't seen a team in the competition of rugby league worldwide that has sort of gained as much engagement in a new market as those guys have, and worldwide. You know what I mean? They were big news everywhere in the rugby league world for what they achieved and how they managed to battle their way up through the divisions year on year and then hit the actual ESL. Corona is something that could have fucking obviously a team that's located internationally and not within not counting France with the Catalans. It's fucking they had their plan to base themselves in the UK and all this shit.
France is like fucking New Zealand is to Australia. Everyone just assumes it's part of it anyway.
Yeah. But
and probably wishes it could be.
And obviously, being unable to fulfill certain obligations due to the Corona situation is unprecedented.
Yes.
However, these self-interested little cunt clubs over in the UK have voted I believe by a margin of 9-4 I think it was against their readmission.
Do we know how the vote went? Do we know who voted which way?
I don't have it in front of me, but your bigger clubs like your Wiggins and your Leeds stuff, they voted for them to be admitted. They were, and then it was clubs down the bottom, and poorer clubs that voted the other way. But then you look at what else is going on. I mean, Hull Kingston Rovers. There's 3 weeks to go, three games to go. They've ended their season because they've had a new coronavirus outbreak at the club. So the seasons are cunt circus anyway because so they're gone for the rest of the year. And it's just such a fucking it's a fucking joke with the forfeits and the fucking and shit anyway. And
so what was their rationale? Was it the travel? Was it?
Okay, so the rationale. Just let me bring it up here. So they withdrew because obviously the coronavirus fucked them financially.
Correct.
And also the weirdness around, would they have to they'd have to be based in the UK for the entirety of the season, etc., etc. So sorry, it was 8 votes to 4 and one abstention. To
yep.
In the vote, and they basically Super League appointed an independent committee of sports industry experts with representation from the RFL to examine the commercial opportunities for rugby league in Canada. And their findings were unanimous. Operating a team in a fiercely competitive North American sport market was non-strategic and added no material incremental value to revenue to Super League in the short or medium term.
Yep.
These people talking about adding fucking revenue to Super League in the short and medium term, the same cunts that signed a fucking deal to get free pizza for no money to advertise Papa John's.
Exactly.
So, so Leeds were one of 3 clubs to support the Wolfpack, along with the Rugby Football League, but their vote was cancelled out by that of the executive chairman of Super League, who Robert Elstone, who was a skeptic of the Canadian club.
Yep.
And so the prospective new owner of the club had made a pledge to pay 5 months of unpaid wages to the players as well.
Yep.
However, that's in doubt. And now Super League has to decide whether they have 11 teams or 12 next season. And if 12, they've got to find another team.
Yeah, wow.
So it's just a shame because, I mean, like those guys were getting good crowds at the Canadian games.
Yep.
They had great, like, you know, awareness and media attention and awareness
Yep.
in the country.
Yep.
And, you know,
here's the thing.
People always want to talk about growing the game and expanding the game and things like that.
Yeah.
That was a fucking case study that if you take the coronavirus impact that everyone had to wear, it almost fucking brought the NRL down. The premier competition in the fucking game.
Yeah.
You know, you take that out of it, I mean, you know, it's just a damn shame.
It reeks of just that small-minded mentality.
Yeah. And that's why the Super League is always going to be the small fucking comp.
Exactly. Now, I give absolutely zero fucks about Super League.
Yep.
Absolutely zero fucks. However, I do care about the international game.
Yep. And
I care about, you know, 5, 10, 15 years down the track. You know, we got a situation here where there's like an entire new market. Entire new market. If Canada's established, there's one team there. They've got the population to justify multiple teams.
Yeah, and not only that, the success of the Wolfpack had already had Scott Penn, Manly's owner, exploring the creation of a New York franchise.
I'm not so much worried about that, but the basic mass of it is the amount of potential eyeballs that are in that region.
Mm-hmm.
That's all it is.
Yep.
And it was a golden opportunity to set themselves in front of those eyeballs, and they fucked it because they didn't want to sit on aeroplanes.
Yeah, what's going to have to happen is you're going to need a high net worth individual, and I mean a proper high net worth individual who is prepared to piss money, or, you know, like a significant amount of money, like take a hit to get things going the proper way. Because at the moment, I mean, there's, you know, the USA they've had a couple of different competitions over the years trying to get things done, but it's all like really like guerrilla low money, you know, guys are playing for free sort of thing, and they can never build, you know, they can't get it up to any significant level because, I mean, it just simply takes money. When you don't have that kind of exposure, it takes money, and money attracts athletes. Money attracts, you know, eyeballs because they can package it up as a glitzy thing. In America, God, they fucking love that. And actually make, you know, package a glossy product. And they just can't do. They just can't do it at the moment. With a couple of expats and, you know, from Australia and things like that coming over there and coaching and trying to assemble, you know, teams with, you know, farmers.
Exactly.
So
in short, fuck English people. Fuck England. Yet again, doing selfish shit to other countries and putting the local populace down. It's in your fucking DNA.
Take a bath and put your beers in the fucking fridge, for fuck's sake, cunts.
You're all fucking Storm supporters.
Recaps. Okay, one game and one game only. Regrettably, Queensland 18 defeated New South Wales 14 in the first State of Origin clash at Adelaide Oval. A good crowd in these troubled times of over 25,000 in attendance. Queensland tries to Andrew Bramstone, Xavier Coates, Cameron Munster, Daly Cherry Evans, 3 of 3 conversions. New South Wales 14 came through tries to Damien Cook, a double to Josh Adokar, and 1 of 3 conversions to Nathan Cleary. So ultimately goal kicking the difference in the end. What say you about this game? Well, I guess what we'll do before we get into the game itself, Origin in November. How do you find it, sir? Can I preface what you're going to say? I know what you're going to say because we were literally having conversation while the game was going on last night for 2 hours.
That's it.
But our Digi members who are on the live stream and the ones who will, pick it up in a delayed fashion when I upload it later today, will know or will find out that what we say now, we were saying when New South Wales were up 10-0, we were saying it from when it was 0-0, and we were saying at the end of the game. So I don't want anyone to misconstrue these comments as like some sort of sour grapes on the result or whatever. No. The result wouldn't have saved, I think, our impressions of Origin at this, or at least maybe not Origin this time of the year, but Origin game 1 as itself.
The intensity was down on a mid-year Origin. Now, again, I'm not going to speculate that any one reason was the 100% reason for any of this.
Yep.
Like you just alluded to with the Wolfpack situation, this has been a cunt of a year, and you've got players who are probably more mentally and physically exhausted at this end of season than they would be at a regular end of season.
Yep.
You've also got the scenario that with normal state of Origin, you go straight from club into Origin camp.
Yep.
Have you camp with the boys and then straight into game 1. Where you've got the situation here that you had some players finish, week 1 of the finals.
And some players before the finals.
I'm sure they've been doing everything to keep fit and they've been working out and doing all of that stuff. But there was a long time between matches.
Yep.
And we know how important match fitness is, especially in an elite competition. So I felt the intensity was down. Like you made the great point that at the start of the second half, there were no props involved in the first tackle.
Yep.
On the tackler or the tacklee.
Off the kickoff, yeah.
Whereas normally, that's one of the most exciting times of the entire fucking games. The first tackle of the first set of each half.
Yeah. And guys are jumping in there to absolutely belt the guy rucking the ball up.
Exactly.
And it wasn't just the first tackle. I mean, it's like every kick return, like there was none of that real shoulder in. There was there was probably half a dozen great sort of strong Origin style, smashing a guy.
Yes.
Examples in the game.
That's it.
So it's absolute lack of intensity.
The mistake count was terrible from both sides.
What did the New South Wales mistakes? I didn't follow the stats after. I know they were like three completed sets from 7.
I'm just getting back into
half before they scored that try.
But what Queensland did really well was simple fucking strategic rugby league.
Yeah, and only in the second half though. They weren't doing it in the first half.
They were trying in the first half. New South Wales were playing with a little bit more intensity. And that's how the fortunes went. It was in the first half all New South Wales simply because they had more pace. They were doing things with a little bit more energy.
Yeah, play the balls were noticeably.
That's
extremely quicker.
So the completion rate for New South Wales was 73%, and for Queensland 78%.
Yep.
So New South Wales made 17 errors.
Yep. That's a fuck ton of errors.
That is. Queensland were 10.
Yeah.
But that's what killed New South Wales. The fact that they're a team that I think lacked leadership really showed through. And there were some selections there that I think were, look, I don't want to say dubious, because Whiten had a very good series at centre last year, if you remember.
Yeah, last year the selections in terms of out of position guys was exactly the same level of dubiousness, I think, except the players in the positions really lifted.
Exactly. So again,
and didn't put a foot wrong.
Whiten had a fantastic series last year, and his game, I believe, as a 6, easily transitions him to centre.
Mm-hmm.
Gutho in centre, and I know last year we had a fullback in centre.
Yep.
But Gutho is not an effort face. They are not the same.
No.
They are not the same at all. The funny thing is, I tried to think back, and the Canberra fans, correct me here if I'm wrong, but I tried to go back and think of all the things I think of when I'm looking at Jack White and how he plays the game. An absolute fucking defensive liability was not one of them.
No.
And it wasn't as if he was shown up for positioning. It wasn't as if people kept getting on his outside and beating him for pace.
No, he was getting square one-on-one first contact.
Yeah.
And just getting and either falling off or being pushed off that first attempt.
It was hit and stick. It was simple stuff. Again, who knows what that was? But fuck, I don't know. I'm not trying to make excuses for the guy, but it just seemed very out of character for how I've seen him play the game.
Yep.
And
Dane Gagai is not fucking like Greg Inglis.
True, but
he's not this behemoth. He's not this behemoth.
But do you know what Dane Gagai's not?
Essentially hard to tackle or anything.
Do you know what Dane Gagai's not? Fucking Kurt Capewell. So on the other side of the field, like, and at the end of the day, if you need to say that, okay, an experienced rep centre, or winger, depending on what he's doing, in Gagai, showed up a 6 that we put in the centres. Like, yeah, okay, yeah, mate, I cop that. But to say that a fucking bench second rower, let me say that again, a bench second rower
gets game time when Kickout gets suspended.
Yeah, was the best centre on the field by a long margin.
Well, I don't know about that. I think Gagai was, possibly the best player on the field for the game.
Well,
but he was certainly better than the 2 New South Wales centres by far.
Capewell was also the best half on the field because of that fucking deft little kick he put in after his fucking amazing break. But yeah, New South Wales lack leadership. And there's these things I see in Cleary that should just be like little whispers in his ear. Like if you flick that situation around and you put that game scenario into somewhere that had that great Queensland team, the amount of times that New South Wales would go at them and assert some dominance in the game and really feel like they were on top, and then Thurston would be kicking and he would be leading the fucking chase. Because he was one of those players that understood that if the tempo's not being set by his team, he needs to set it for them. And
drag them along with you.
Exactly. Cooper Cronk was exactly the same.
Yep.
Cooper Cronk was exactly the same. The amount of times you had him coming in and wrapping players around him and saying, see that fucking corner? The ball is going to be there at the end of every fucking set. Every fucking set. Didn't matter who we had back there or any of this gamesmanship of, don't kick to that winger because it won't...
Yeah.
Cooper Cronk was fuck that noise. Like you said last night, 10 in, 10 out, 10 in, 10 out.
Yep.
Start every fucking set there and you go a long way to winning a fucking game of football, especially in Origin.
And especially once you've established a lead.
Yeah.
And then you can just use that to just clamp down.
Yeah. And that's where I think Cleary's got a little bit or a lot of maturing to do in terms of he can't just be a role player. That's that last bit of coming out from under someone like Maloney's shadow. That when you've got those people there around you, you can't just be a role player if they're not doing it.
Yeah, but also, if you want to be a role player, you've got to fucking play your role too.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, now fucking Kurt Capewell has more try assists in fucking one Origin game than fucking Cleary's had in his career. Like, it's like fucking like.
Well, we've
fucking
established Kurt Capewell is the best half to ever play State of Origin.
It's honestly, I think like his Origin career to date, the only thing that Cleary could do to be more Mitchell Pearce is to fuck a dog. I mean, otherwise, it's literally to quote the fucking the lawyer in My Cousin Vinny is identical.
But then around the park, Damien Cook's service was a little bit hesitant last night.
They were really disjointed. Like everything was like a half a click behind the speed that it needed to be, and you could see guys that sort of hesitate before throwing the ball. Like that first try that Fox almost scored. Well, he didn't almost score it. I mean, he was sort of bundled out fairly comfortably over the sideline when he went for the corner. But that whole try was not scored because every single pass along that chain was just a half a tick more hesitant.
Yeah.
You know, and even he was. Then it got to him and he sort of went, I'll, put on a little bit of move, try and, stand up my guy to give me a little avenue down the sideline. And, everything was just a tick too late.
Yes.
And all that sort of stuff, and that sort of thing just closes down the space. But there were so many matchups and players in that game that just, like, Queensland weren't they were great at locking it down in the second half and playing like a more, like a safe kind of game, and controlling sort of game
that
plan.
Came down, I think, a lot to Munster as well. Because
Munster shook off his hangover.
Yeah, that's it. Finally got some feelings back. But Munster is definitely fuck it, I'll show you what we're doing.
Yeah.
And you got to think about this. It was something that you learned very, very early on, is that people follow. It's not that everyone's lazy. It's not that they're not working hard. They're working hard. But sometimes they just need someone in front of them to go, no, just a bit more. Just a bit more, just a bit more. That's what your senior players are for. That's what I think Munster did really well last night. The other thing Queensland did exceptionally well was kept the ball alive.
Yeah.
You look at the stat sheet, New South Wales had more offloads than they did. But Queensland seemed to come multiple times a set and from situations where the ball should have been wrapped up. So New South Wales were doing that thing, like you said, it was a little bit robotic, where they'd rush up, contact to be made, okay, there's two in the tackle, everyone else just turns around and they're jogging back the 10.
Yep.
And Queensland were keeping the ball alive then. So it was the response to offloads.
Also the quality of offloads.
Yeah, exactly.
Is different to just like a blank statistic, because how many stupid fucking offloads did Daniel Tupou throw instead of take a tackle?
Yeah, exactly.
It's something that he does it's something that's crept, back in, for Easts. And it's something, and honestly, the left-hand side of New South Wales, the Roosters on that side did not fucking cover themselves in glory at all.
No.
I mean, Daly, every time he went to the right, and he'd just do that little skip, and he'd fucking have Cordner beaten every fucking time.
Yeah.
And instantly created opportunities for Gagai.
I think
every fucking time.
I think that again, this is a brutal fucking call because he's been a servant to the state.
Mm-hmm.
But I think Boyd Cordner's done at Origin.
Yep. And I would also add that just as a compassion for human beings note. That guy's getting knocked down by a fucking change in humidity now.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like Liam Fulton levels of eggshell head.
I also didn't really understand what sort of role Walker was meant to play.
Yeah, I feel for that guy because he got axed after one fucking game.
Yeah.
And now he's used in a weird sort of, not really used but not disused.
Yeah.
He does dead set fucking throw him in, just because his performance that got him dropped was no worse than Cleary last night.
I don't think either of the halves really stood up.
No, I don't think so either.
And I think that was down to a little bit of confusion of really who's executing a game plan. To me, that whole situation for New South Wales reeked of Brad Fittler being all about State of Origin, all about rugby league, all about love for the Blues. But how about instead of fucking making fake Queen music video homages, develop a fucking game plan?
Yep.
So that when Queensland come out and just do all the little things right and fuck with the head of every player you've got on the field, give them a fucking plan B. It's what you look at Craig Bellamy, you look at the Roosters for the last couple of years, you look at the Wayne Bennett coach Bronco sides, they had a fucking fallback. They had a mental safety net so that when shit started to get too much, we're just falling back into this. We need
Yeah,
3 or
yep.
4 sets of very simple, controlled territory gain, and then we're going to start the sets in an advantageous position. We're going to chase our fucking guts out. And how many times does just 3 or 4 continued sets of that force a mistake in your opposition?
Yeah, yep.
You know it.
And the thing is as well. I mean, it was an opportunity for New South Wales to also, turn guys like Xavier Coates and Brimson and Capewell into like Nathan Merritt head fucked situations. But now
The fucking reverse has happened.
Two of those guys got a try.
Yeah.
Another guy laid a try on, and now they're Origin players and they're brimming with confidence.
So
so it's just
like there's a lot that's been said
very
about
casual and fucking.
That you don't need a coach at Origin level. You need a man manager.
Yep.
And that's true to a certain extent.
Well, not even a man manager. I reckon you just need a guy like a passion merchant motivated. A guy to get good players.
Like a Flavor Flav.
Yeah.
But you know what? It turns out what you actually need, whether it's from your head coach or from one of his staff, is an actual fucking game plan to execute.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah.
I tell you, is Luai in the fucking 28,
Yep.
27-man squad?
Fucking oath he is. Get him in there.
Look, I'm not, you know how I feel about Luai.
Yeah.
You know how I feel about Cleary's ability and how much Luai is a factor in it.
Exactly. 100%. I feel you, bro.
I'm telling you, that game cemented even more how important Luai is to fucking Cleary's game.
Yeah, spot on.
And maybe it wouldn't be the worst thing to throw an established I mean, they're going to stick with Cleary. They don't have another fucking 7 in the squad.
Yeah, exactly.
So you could do worse than maybe throw in an established combination.
Yeah, spot on.
And fuck it, put White into lock or something.
But here's the thing.
Or on the bench and throw Crichton in outside there, and then you got fucking.
Do you think that all of the things that Cooper Cronk did were his ideas? Do you think he came up with them at the time?
Well, when he was down, kicking 100 kicks and having the best hot chips when his barn was burning or village was burning and all that shit.
Nathan Cleary is more in a Cooper Cronk mould than he is in an Andrew Johns mould as a 7.
Yeah.
You know what? Give him the fucking parameters of which to execute and get him to go there. Fuck. I don't know. Anyway. Wholesale changes.
He really did back himself into that midfield bomb.
Exactly.
Cleary 2018 again, didn't he? Look, what I would be changing, Queensland winning combination changed nothing.
Don't change anything at all.
Kurt Capewell has earned he's earned his place there.
Yep.
I think he's eminently exploitable by a decent opposite number, but fucking the dude did what Queensland players have done over time. Like, he's not supposed to be there. He wasn't supposed to perform, and he fucking did.
Yeah.
So, great. New South Wales, look, the changes that I would be making. I think that not only Cordner is fucking cooked at Origin as well. I think Frizzle is fucking done.
Yeah.
He hasn't been very good. He hasn't been good for a series or two.
He's Josh Jackson 2.0.
But he wasn't, but he is now.
Yeah,
yeah. I mean, that was never his thing.
No.
And it makes me think the Knights have fucking bought themselves a clapped out fucking and something that's been absolutely thrashed on the track.
You know what? It wasn't a tough story to sell in that he was great. Things haven't been good at the Dragons. There's been coaching speculation every year.
The Jack the Bell and shit.
People like to rape people. The club likes to think that rape isn't so bad and stick by them after they've raped. But fuck, who knows?
Well, I mean, obviously.
And again, it's easy for us to sit back and say this, but let me just point out there as well that it would be a lot fucking harder for him to maintain the passion and drive, just as it would be for Cordner, who actually just go in there, smash and get smashed every fucking game, than it would be for somebody like Cameron Smith, who comes in, over the top on a couple of tackles and
always passes the ball, never really takes a tackle.
Exactly.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. And like, I mean, so for New South Wales, so I would be seriously considering the second row situation.
yep,
Maybe just put Jakey into second row,
that's it.
White into lock,
Yep,
Crichton to left centre.
yep,
Gutho got to go
yep.
because he wasn't as bad as Crichton was. However, offensively, he was a real fucking handbrake. And
Yeah, he was.
There were times when he just kind of got in the road when
Yeah.
play would shift to the right.
Yeah.
And there were times when he didn't give it when he should have.
Which
to
again,
Addo-Carr.
you get. He's a fullback,
Yeah.
and that's what I guess bugs me the most. In theory, a modern fullback skill set should involve a fair amount of that play almost in the centre position, like on those
like
big
chiming in the
sweeping
back. Yeah,
wraparound
yeah.
plays.
Yep.
Who knows? Maybe nerves got to him. Maybe he's a fraud and not Origin caliber. Who fucking knows?
All I can say is, I mean, if he had have stayed at Manly, he would have had to play centre.
Yeah.
And fuck me, we dodged a bullet there.
Yeah, fuck, that's true.
You got some tweets from this game?
Let me go in.
It was a fairly decent game thread, considering we didn't think to put it up until about fucking 20 minutes before full time.
As B.43 said, hashtag Yeary of knock-onny. Which was, okay.
That was a disappointing incident.
Aaron Marr said Nathan Merritt had a better Origin career than Clint Gutherson. Oh my God. And then Timmy McIntyre replied to that. Clint Gutherson has an Origin career, unlike David Nofaluma. So I'm happy for those two sides to go at each other all fucking day. Just wear themselves out.
Yeah.
Moving into the Facebook group. There was a lot of, interesting comments. So, Darren said, I just think New South Wales thought they were going to win and were waiting for a game to come to them that never did. 100%, man. I agree with that sentiment exactly. There were, in the live stream last night, how many times did we use the word complacency?
Yeah.
How many?
They were told all week that they were going to win.
Yep.
They went in there expecting they somehow got themselves, despite playing pretty poorly, they got them, and a lot of errors, they got themselves to 10-0, which is, frankly, a match-winning lead to build upon. And the second Queensland showed the slightest modicum of resistance, they went back-to-back and the lead was gone.
Yeah, exactly. Toto said, so that's what it's like to win a game. Strong arm emoji. Zeb said, Capewell is Penrith's best Origin player. Crying face emoji. Fucking oath it was. Dan said, a lot to unpack. Queensland's line speed and kick chase was just relentless. New South Wales halves looked rudderless. Kicking game was subpar. Looked a bit better when Walker came on and sparked a bit. How did Boyd pass that HIA? Fuck, that Cam Murray injury turned my stomach. Can't believe he tried to run it off. Honestly, Gags is just having a laugh now with his club v rep form. Yeah. That sucked. That Murray. Yeah. And I was actually looking forward to, because I honestly thought we were going to dominate Queensland with our bench.
Yeah.
I will say Junior Paulo, I think, was close to New South Wales' best on field just in doing your fucking job. Like, he was really, really good. I didn't feel like Haas added the punch that I was expecting from him.
No, he got through a lot of work.
Yeah.
But he wasn't beasting people like I thought that he would.
Yeah, that's it.
He got through a lot of minutes though, didn't he? It felt like he was on the field
again.
Game.
Yeah, but I don't know. I was really looking forward to having some damaging rotation in the props, and then for these mobile ball playing second rowers to get in and just really pick them apart on the edges. But that game plan just never eventuated.
Yep.
Mitch said, Capewell absolutely killed it in the second half. And OK Brown Plums surely locks the fullback slot over that underrated undercover redhead Ponga.
He was fine, but as we mentioned with Cleary's kicking game, he wasn't he wasn't tested. There was never a pressure moment for him.
That's it.
I mean, there was a couple of tries scored in the corner, which aren't his sole domain to stop.
Mm.
And you know, at least instead of, you know, as opposed to Ponga, I mean, at least he got into the camera frame when those tries were scored.
That is true. That is very true. So that's it. A lot of the other comments were about the game while it was happening.
Yep.
So if you're not in the Facebook group, get in there and trade fucking barbs with each other, and not like some weird Cameron Smith clone orgy. But
Cameron Smith scrubber done. Yeah. And Queensland, just remember, you won the first game last time too. Done.
Yes.
Done.
That's it.
With better players too. We are very happy to be brought to you by Manscaped, and they've got a new product. It's a new product alert. They've just released in Australia the Weed Whacker. It's literally been out for about 3 or 4 days in Australia. It's a nose and ear hair trimmer. So apparently, this is not me personally, but if you take a look in the mirror, I guarantee you'll see hairs sticking out of both of those holes. So it's time to keep your ear and nose hair looking as nice as your clean shaven pubes.
Now, all men and women, for that matter, because far be it from me to be biased towards any gender, will reach an age where hair will start protruding like an unsightly fucking syringe sticking up from the once pristine playground that was your nostril. Now, there's some actual fucking annoying shit that this causes. I don't know about you, but when I have errant nose hairs, I sneeze like a motherfucker because they're sticking out of that thing. They get caught on the mustache if I got one at the time. You know, a fucking strong breeze comes through, tickles that shit, or it's just itchy and annoying as fuck. And I don't like sitting there all day, rubbing my nose, looking like either the sort of fucking inconsiderate cunt that goes places when they're sick, or a fucking Bolivian superstar getting ready for my next soccer match. I was in the habit up to now of hot waxing my nose.
So that process is you getting a bit of wax on your finger, jamming it in there.
No. So the first step is I would have to go to the chemist.
Yep.
And I would have to buy a fucking whole pot of this wax stuff.
Yep.
Now,
so you're not jamming lit candles up there?
No.
Right.
Now these dumb fucks...
I'm ignorant to this whole fucking...
These dumb fucks that make nose wax don't understand their own product. What they're essentially selling you is polymered molten lava.
Well, yeah, I mean...
And the instructions are never fucking right. They go, put it in the microwave for a minute. You put it in for a minute, it comes out, it's still fucking rock hard. You put it in for a minute and 3 seconds, and it's fucking hotter than the shit that the T-800 went down into at the end of Terminator 2. Like, fuck whatever sort of chemical fuckery is going on in that stuff. But then you smear that on a little stick, shove that up your nostril, and then you've got to yank it out.
Yank it. Right.
Now, I don't consider myself a shrinking violet, and I've got a pretty good pain tolerance.
Right.
But the last time we did it, there were 3 blokes. Now, the other 2 guys that were in there were bigger than me.
Yeah.
And the 3 of us were standing around doing the fucking little tiptoe scaredy dance, waiting to pull these fucking plugs of wax out. The Weed Whacker, which Manscaped were good enough to give us an early advanced copy.
Yep.
Feels amazing. Doesn't hurt at all. And gets the job done. I would also...
It really does. Like, there's no... It's like a no effort thing.
Correct. So you get it in there. Like it's actually nick proof. There's nothing you can do to hurt you. I would also like to say to all the Melbourne Storm fans out there, recent data has shown that living in Melbourne can cause an increased risk of hair growth inside the urethra. So I encourage all Melbourne Storm fans to get one of these and jam it down your pee hole.
Right. Now, the Weed Whacker uses the same proprietary skin-safe technology which prevents the nicks and snags and tugs and all of that sort of thing that you know from the old Lawnmower 3.0. It comes with a USB charger, but it also will actually sit in the dock for the Lawnmower 3.0 and charge that way if you have that one as well. And the thing is, you can actually get a new package. It's the performance package, which includes the Weed Whacker, the Lawnmower 3.0, plus the Crop Preserver, the Crop Reviver, all that good shit. So for listeners who've already gone one way, grab the Weed Whacker. It's great. If you haven't yet availed yourself of any of the products, you can get this performance package. And of course, if you use our code at manscaped.com, TWiL Nation, all in caps, you get 20% off and free shipping. You can't beat that.
Fantastic. Get amongst it.
Okay. So, I mean, previews, it's really, we can't really preview the next game. We sort of mentioned what we were talking about with the, some of the changes that we would make given the opportunity for game 2. Already it's become super interesting in terms of those limited squads of players. So that's with Cameron Murray and a couple of other guys. I mean, it instantly makes it interesting.
Yep.
And so I guess I reckon we move to the mailbag. First things
Go
first.
for it.
Let me fucking find it. There we go. Okay, so Troy. A lot of these things are kind of have expired. They've reached their use-by date already because of the game last night. But Troy said, "Thank fuck the Blues can carry Cleary to some level of achievement this season." That didn't happen. Daniel said, "I hate myself for saying this, but I think it might be the series of Cleary." Fuck you guys.
Jesus Christ.
He also said, if the Blues lose this game, will it be a bigger bottle job than the Panthers' grand final effort? Probably not that big, but yeah. He's gone ham in this group. With Origin being at the end of this season this year and no other codes playing, have we missed an opportunity to move the games to the weekend and put them on a little earlier to get more eyes on the game?
Yeah,
possibly based on the product. Based on the product they delivered last night, though, if less eyes saw that, maybe move the decider to the weekend.
Yeah, that's it.
And that's the other thing we didn't mention in regards to the Origin with Queensland winning game 1 is now there's a decider in fucking November 18 in hot as fuck humid ass Queensland.
Yeah.
Which is going to be it's going to be a crazy war of attrition. What else have we got here? Matthew said, "Why are all the members of TWiL Nation who are posting pictures for Origin dressed like people who I'd be terrified to let my children go near?" I hear you, man. The ones that dress up are the ones you got to worry about the most, I think.
Yeah, that's it.
Fuck me. They've got a couple of... here we go. Timmy. King Gutho has more try assists than Nathan Cleary. Stepdad comment.
Pass it to a fucking winger. Of course he does. Like, do your fucking job, Gutho.
He's got try assists like Darius Boyd's got Origin tries.
Yeah, exactly. Fuck me.
Terry said, "How much will Cordner be able to sue for when his brain is discovered to be mashed potatoes?"
Yeah, man. That
I feel for that. I feel for the guy, man. I don't want to see him fucking drooling into his porridge.
That's the other thing. He, as was mentioned in the comments, he passed his fucking HIA.
Yeah.
Like, can we not have we need new criteria. He needs an HIAA now.
Yeah. Yep.
Because he's memorized all the fucking questions.
He's had so many that he knows every possible variable. Yeah.
Like, he goes in and just Rain Mans it.
He's like the kid who's gone in and read every card in a deck of Trivial Pursuit cards. So when he plays, he acts like he knows everything.
Yeah, exactly.
Norts said hashtag Yuri of Hutchins. It's getting like that.
Yes, it is.
It's getting like that.
Fucking is.
And a lot of these people, because of the lack of game thread for so long in the game, they treated the fucking mailbag like a game thread. But so moving right along, that's it. We got an hour. I can't believe we got an hour out of it. That's full time for episode 375. Thanks for listening, everyone. As always, you can interact with us on Twitter, so follow at TWI League. Facebook community, #TwilNation. If you're on Facebook, get in there. It's facebook.com/groups/TwilNation. Also on Facebook, Facebook page, facebook.com/This Week in League, with post-release and episode releases and all that sort of thing. Make sure you hit the like button. Be sure to share our posts and help us spread the word, basically. And if you'd like to support the show, make sure you drop us a rating and a review on Apple Podcasts. And we got 2 this week. One good, one not so good. The first one from Eels Up Inside Ya.
Fucking love you. That's the Mighty Boosh reference.
It's obviously a Parramatta fan or a fan of Japanese pornography.
Have you seen that episode?
No.
Did you watch the Mighty Boosh?
No, I only scattered episodes as I saw them when they were on.
Just fucking what have you done with your life? What have you fucking done?
Look, not fucking much, clearly.
Yeah. That's the rest of your day.
Right.
Fuck work.
Right.
Fuck anything productive.
All right. After I edit these fucking podcasts, his review was entitled "Sweet Ass Podcast," 5 stars. This is an awesome podcast I couldn't do without. Both hosts bring their own unique sense of humour and rugby league expertise that is second to none. Thank you, sir.
Fantastic.
Now for the fucking. there was the carrot. Now for the stick. From Purple Storm 20.
Lee.
Title: So biased. 1 star. I was really enjoying this podcast until the host was having a sook about the Panthers losing the grand final, saying the Storm deserve no credit and are the least deserving premiers ever. You're a flog, mate. The best part was when your mate was disagreeing with you on everything. So I guess it was a bad review about you, not so much me. Cheers, Purple Storm 20. Why didn't you give us 3 stars so I could have the 3 stars and then the 2 years subtracted?
Yeah, well, you know what? Now that you mention it, I have realised that I am biased. It's taken that comment for me to realise that I am biased. And I've examined those internal biases. Storm still did nothing. They were just there.
Get a new email address and another 1 star next week. Also, if you want to go the extra mile to support the show, our digital memberships are still available and can be picked up anytime for $3.99 a month. We've got about 35 members only episodes in the can already for you to enjoy. And last night we did basically a live podcast, just conversation while the game was going on. Talking about the game while it was happening, plus interjecting with listener questions for the week as it went through. When you get this episode as a Digi member, you have to make sure you queue the game up, because I think if you're not watching the game at the same time watching it with us, you're not going to get as much out of it. I don't think. That's my suspicion. I mean, obviously, the more we do these, the better they'll become. But I think that's the first one a little bit rough if you're not watching it. I mean, you need to have the context of the game while you're doing it. Or tell a friend. The more the merrier for this old show. And that is it.
Although you may need to warn your friends that we've just discovered that we're biased. So we're actually going to need to take a hiatus for intensive mental deprogramming.
Mental health thing, do we?
That's it. Fuck. I need a pepperoni and a telepizza.
I just want to check something out real quick. With the actual TWiL Facebook page, I need to fucking
as opposed to the group?
Yeah, as opposed to the group.
Yep.
I just need to hang on a second. Facebook's giving me this fucking. I need to switch back to the old school Facebook for 48 hours to try and find the fucking thing. Yeah. Okay. So on the Facebook page, if I can get to that fucking thing, load up, cunt. It's not loading up. I'm pretty sure though that what There we go. No, maybe it's not. Maybe it's the. Here we go. This is the blurb about This Week in League, and I think it was on the. I think it might be a variation.
It's on iTunes.
There's a variation of this on the iTunes blurb as well. Your award-winning weekly rugby league podcast, bringing your news, views, and 100% biased opinions from our dedicated team of rugby league devotees. So, we literally gave you what was on the fucking label.
You know
100% was on the label. So, come on, son.
Exactly. Just be a normal fucking Storm fan and enjoy my obvious fucking distress.
Yeah.
Don't be a fucking Broncos fan and need validation from everybody about your club.
Exactly.
You know, I'm going to prescribe to you, as Dr. J, 3-hour-long sessions with your 3-hour-long sessions with your Storm fan consultant at Supergrover. What is he? Supergrover 4? Whatever.
Yeah, Supergrover 4 on Twitter.
At Supergrover 4 on Twitter. Make a Twitter and tweet at him and tell him I've prescribed him to teach you how to be a proper Storm fan and not seek validation from anyone as you live in your fucking purple man cave.
Yes.
You'll be a better person for it.
Yeah. Look, I'm just going to put that one down to fucking lockdown fever. It's tough. I get it. It's been a rough year down there. Can't see eating bats and whatnot. That's it. That's all we got.
Love you all.
Thanks for listening. And we'll see the Digi members on the live stream next week. And we'll see the next of you shortly after.
Later.